Who's ready to talk about Spider-Man 2? Spider-Man 2 is the direct sequel to Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales and features an array of villains to challenge you along the way that I thought was great. Kraven is an excellent villain. I'm really feeling sorry for Sony with trying to deliver their solo Kraven movie with Aaron Taylor Johnson because I doubt it's going to live up to this. In fact, I've seen the commercials. They're playing Kraven off as some kind of anti-hero, just like they did with Venom, and I think it's going to be a disaster. But I mean, I'm willing to be changed. I'm willing to have my mind swayed, but I'm not too optimistic about it. But yeah, the main villain of this game is Kraven, and he comes to the city because he's ready for a challenge. He's worked through all the best hunts that he can do, and he finds out that New York has some really interesting prey. You got weirdos like Doc Ock, Scorpion, Shocker, Vulture, Rhino. I mean, New York is ripe with people that are perfect for someone to hunt, and he's looking for someone more challenging. Interestingly, though, he doesn't originally go to New York to look for Spider-Man. That part comes into the story a little bit later on. He originally goes there looking for the villains.
Light the fires. The great hunt begins.
One thing that can be said about Sony is they know how to deliver single-player campaign stories. This game has a great story. The first game had a great story. Miles Morales had a great story. I feel like I'm watching the version of Spider-Man that I really wish that they would deliver in the movies. I mean, the Tom Holland movies were quite good. They were definitely an improvement over the Andrew Garfield movies. And honestly, it got to be no shame to Tobey, but it's actually better than the Tobey movies as well. This is true Spider-Man. After being reduced to nothing more than a voice at different locations where you were doing tests, Harry Osborn makes his appearance in this game, and he is a welcome return. You can tell that there is definitely a rich history between him and Peter, and you can really tell that those two care about each other. And Harry has a very noble mission. He really, honestly wants to do well by the planet. He has, a dark passenger riding along with him. That was revealed at the end of the first Spider-Man game. If you actually stuck around, I think it was in the credits or maybe right at the end of the game, but they showed that Harry has some kind of black goo in the tank with him that's supposed to be keeping him alive. And spoiler alerts, we all know black goo is the symbiote. The game has a really cool ability where you get to switch between both Spider-Man, and each Spider-Man offers their own different separate type of gameplay. Miles obviously has his electrical powers and he can turn invisible. And Peter's got the same power set you saw before, but later on in the game, his moves change a little bit, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Peter and Miles have a great relationship in this game. You can tell that they have a mutual respect for each other, and they are both committed to sharing this responsibility, although you do get the impression that maybe Peter is getting a little bit burned out and ready to have a little bit more normal life, maybe a stable job, maybe a mortgage, maybe pay for a wedding. Miles has a great arc in this game. He has an interesting set of people around him. He has a deaf girl that he is friends with, and he's got Genki, who's great. Genki is awesome. Genki is basically like Ned Leeds, but maybe a little bit more capable as being the guy in the chair. Not only do you play as Peter and Miles, but there is the same concept as the other game where you do play off as other people in certain missions. There is a few MJ missions, but Mary Jane feels a little bit more capable this time around. She's not just hiding, she's actually maybe even able to attack. That was kind of interesting. It definitely made her missions a little bit less grueling and a little more fun. There's actually a really cool mission later on, or I guess not really a mission, but a story beat where you play as Miles' friend that's deaf. And I gotta say, that scene was so surreal. It was like amazing. Like, I don't know what it's like to be deaf. I hope I never do. But the way they made it come off as some kind of like tinnitus, it was in the surrounds. It was great. Like almost like she can sort of hear, but all you hear is just overwhelmed by the sound of just this bassy note or this high pitched sound. And I don't know if that's really what it sounds like to be deaf, but I found it to be really compelling, and it was one of the most interesting parts of the game. It really gave me a perspective of what it might be like to be deaf. This helped me empathize with this character, and I thought that was a really good choice by the game's creators to put that in there. So as we know from the gameplay trailers, Peter does end up coming into contact with the symbiote, and from that, we get the same kind of story beat we know before. Obviously, he becomes darker, he gets a little bit moody, but this isn't like the Tobey Maguire, the cheesy dancing kind of Peter. He's kind of a jerk. He's an asshole, actually. Sometimes it's downright creepy. Some of the missions later on in the game have him exerting like power and just being very angry, and you can just feel that you're playing with, you almost feel like you're playing with a villain, but I was really digging it. It was really cool, and also it gave Peter some new moves, because obviously Miles has probably cooler powers. One criticism this game has is that, some of the gameplay can come off as repetitive. I honestly, yes, it does get repetitive, but I just consistently found it fun. I never got bored beating up bad guys. I never got bored sticking to the ceilings or sticking to rafters and dropping down and getting the bad guys, and I just thought it was fun every time. And I heard some people say this game's a little bit easier. I don't know what game they were playing, or maybe I just really suck at video games, but I've been getting my butt kicked plenty. And also, one new thing is the boss battles seemed like they were longer, and at times I was like, oh my god, I have to fight this person another round. I got to bring their health bar down again. I could barely do it the first time. Please make this end. But honestly, I think that was necessary to make the game feel fresh, because it was going to feel stale if it was doing the exact same thing as Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man Miles Morales. This game has a lot of emotions. Once the symbiote comes into the story and people start realizing that Peter's mood is changing, it's just really cool seeing like there was some teamwork between Mary Jane and Miles, and just the two people that just care about their friend, and they're just wondering like what's going on with this guy. Like, he seems different. They're genuinely concerned, and you can feel it in the game. You feel concerned.
Don't leave me hanging.
Trying to soak over here.
Not on my watch. Mom.
To sum it up, this game was awesome. I had a lot of fun. I am super excited. I really hope it doesn't take 3 more years to get a follow-up, but I will be patient because I think that Insomniac knows how to deliver quality games, and they really know what they're doing with these superhero games. I'm really excited for Wolverine. I can only imagine what it's going to be like going through town and slicing people up. That's going to be great. I cannot wait. It's going to be very cool. It's a long wait. We don't know when that game's coming. They haven't really made any announcements about it other than just showing that they're making it. One thing I'm really hoping happens is that we can get a crossover between Spider-Man and Wolverine, see them in the same city, because they're patrolling the same area. The X-Men live in New York. That's where Charles Manson is, so it would be pretty nice to see that happen. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it seems likely. I definitely recommend this game. I thought it was awesome. It made me excited. It made me feel like I was Spider-Man. It made me feel like I was Miles. It made me feel like I had the symbiote. I felt dark. I felt angry. I felt moody when I was playing as the symbiote. This is an excellent game. I definitely recommend playing it. I'm looking forward to playing it again. I'm definitely going to give it a break, but when I'm ready and I'm bored and I've got nothing else to do, you can bet I'm going to fire this game up. I played the first 2 games twice each, so this game is definitely on my horizon to play again. And if you like Spider-Man, if you've ever dreamed about swinging across the city or beating up Venom, then this is the game for you. I'm calling this a 9 out of 10. Definitely a must-play. If this review makes you want to play the game, or if you found this review interesting, be sure to hit like and subscribe. This is a brand new channel. I've got a lot of room to grow, and I cannot wait to get to know you guys a bit more and continue talking games, movies, and TV shows.